Okay, well, let's talk about Trinidad Tobago versus Bermuda, Jamaica versus Curacao. Bias, I'll start with my team as usual, and let's go. Well, we went to Bermuda. I was hoping we'd win by 3, 4 goals, and we did. Okay, Bermuda had a few good chances, but that's to be expected. They're not a completely terrible team, and they were playing at home. Um, I was very surprised. No Real Gill, not even on the bench. I would assume he was injured. Before the match started, I said, you know, um, if Real was here, you would gallery on these men. And he wasn't, but Levi Garcia had fun with them, and so did Dante Sealy. Dante scored a goal. His free kicks again were very useful. Dante has now scored in 9 of his last, no, sorry, 8 of his last 10 games. I'm pretty sure it's 8 of his last 10 games. His last 2 goals before the Trinidad match were free kicks, sublime free kicks. In this match, he scored a great goal, and then I believe it was the third goal was because he took a free kick the guy couldn't save, and Kobe Henry scored on the rebound. Um, I forgot to put it in my notes, but I'll mention it because it's in my head. Spicer's goal. I forgot what minute it was. Was in fact it was just before Spicer scored. He got a chance in the box, and instead of shooting, he tried to pass it off, which is nothing wrong with that. If somebody's there to pass it off to, I said, this man is a great player. He just doesn't score enough. He doesn't score enough. When he does score, they're great goals, but it's not often, and it's the chink in his armor. He has to work on that, right? What if there's something called goat mouth? This must have been reverse goat mouth, because within about 60 to 90 seconds, bam, my boy got a counter, went past the keeper, went to the keeper's right, went around him and scored easy peasy. So I take credit for that. All right. So yeah, it was a good result. When we had them 2-0 early in the first half, I said, well, they're good for four. When we scored the third goal early in the second half, I said, well, I definitely want to see four. We didn't get four, but we won. We won, and we won handily, which we had to do if we're going to stay within this. No, Raymond had a great game as usual at left back. I've only seen him a few times for TNT. I've never seen this guy have a bad game. I don't know why he didn't play the last match. Um, Payne came on. Payne looked good. Payne had an okay match. Nothing wrong with his match. Cardenas continues to play good football for Trinidad and Tobago. And what can I say? Good free kicks, good throws, plays well, tackles well. Dante Sealy had a nice game. He's obviously in form for Montreal. He scored a goal. It's Trinidad's first goal in more than 180 minutes of football. So I was real happy for that. He and Garcia linked up really well against the Bermudans. And his free kicks is a much needed asset on the TNT team. It's been a while since we've had anybody to consistently bother teams with their free kicks. Yeats was in the midfield. For my money, I would have rather they put Jovin Jones or Molino in the midfield. Um, Nobody wants to see Muckett play. I would have liked to see, I think they would have offered a little more. I think Jovin too, with his ability to distribute and tackle. We don't have great options for the midfield, so hence they are saying those names. In a perfect world, my boy John Paul Rochford would be in perfect shape and have a little more strength. But I think I say that every video, and I should print a T-shirt or something. Okay, now you gotta forgive me. I work out some math on how we could qualify for this World Cup. My head hurting. I am suffer pain like this since my CXC exams. Let's go. The next match is against Curacao. In Curacao, if we win, we have an excellent chance to be in the top two, even maybe top the group. Yes. If we draw, and we are working on the assumption that everybody will beat Bermuda and Trinidad will win all its home games. If we draw and Curacao lose in Kingston, we both of us would be on 11 points with Curacao, and we'll have to work that out somehow. Okay. Now, if Curacao wins against Trinidad and the next match is against Bermuda and they win that, they'll be on 13 points. Okay, they'll be on 13 points. This is where my math gets tricky. It means the final match would be Curacao in Jamaica, TNT at home against Bermuda. The problem is the Dutchman will be unassailable. Unassailable. And if I remember correctly, I believe Jamaica should have about 10 points and we have 7. It means if we win, we'll be on tied with the Jamaicans and it'll be goal difference. But if Jamaica draws or wins, we're finished, right? This is the thing. If the Dutchmen have already qualified, how hard will they try? How many of their best players will show up? And they're going to be in Kingston. So you see where I'm going with this, right? This is some real headache right here. Uh, Jamaica lets themselves down sometimes. I'm hoping that happens. Um, No, if Curacao beats Trinidad in the next match and they beat Jamaica in Kingston, yes, we can qualify. But as I said, if they beat Trinidad and they should beat Bermuda in the next match, they'll have an unassailable lead. And I see no reason for them to try that hard against Jamaica, which means we kind of screw. So, how can we stop this from happening? It means not only must we be undefeated in our next three games, we cannot lose in Curacao, and we have to win at home. We cannot lose in Curacao. We cannot lose. And this is where I believe, as I said in my last video, Real Gill will come in. Levi is a wonderful player, and he and Sealy link up well. But we need more terror up front. We need people who can make the defense scared to put a foot forward, scared to tackle the way Leonson Lewis did, the way Evans Wise did, the way Carlos Edwards did. Real Gill, I don't think he's quite in their category in terms of Lego and beat, but he beats well. He shoots wonderfully from different angles. He can shoot from distance, and I think putting him up front with Levi backed up with Spicer and Dante City on the other side, on either side, would be very useful. So I'm really hoping that will happen. We can't always rely on Levi because if something happens to Levi, what's happening? Then we have to grind out a result, and we need to win in Curacao or at least draw. Um, so it's possible. So the defense looking nice. Once or twice the central defenders look a little disoriented when a ball was lobbed in, but we handled it and we get away and all of that. And so it's all about Curacao. It's next Tuesday. The date is the 14th of October, and it's not impossible. We do not have to lose our next three matches, and we do not definitely don't have to lose in Curacao. We just have to strongly defend and get our counters going. And as I said, we need somebody who could handle the defense a bit, bamboozle them a bit. Um, we're gonna get our chances. That draws me into the next bit of conversation, which is the Jamaican Curacao game. Didn't catch much of the first half because Trinidad was playing. Caught the second half, and I have a feeling the second was like the first half. Jamaica really for most of the match game or second half outplayed Curacao. Jamaica just couldn't score. They couldn't score. And I believe they were 1-0 down in the first half and then 2-0 down in the second half. And that was it. They lost the match. They scored a goal late, around the 88th minute. But it looks like a player who wasn't involved in the play was offside. And actually, he was involved in the play. He blocked a defender. So, VAR got called off. Jamaica didn't have to lose that match. I don't mean to disrespect Curacao. They were lucky. Jamaica over had chances. Jamaica just let themselves down. And this is what I was saying in earlier videos. Jamaica finds a way to let themselves down, to implode. They didn't do it against Trinidad. They waited to do it against blasted Curacao. We good, right? And it reminds me of the way Trinidad played in the 90s. We had an extremely talented side, much more talented than this present Jamaican side. But we wouldn't score when it mattered, and people would barely beat us, but they would beat us, and we would be the ones outplaying them, and it was very frustrating back in the 90s. So yeah, that is it. We win, and it's everything hinges on every other match we play. There's no room for frigging around. Worst case scenario is we draw in Curacao and we win the next two home games. If we if we have anything less than two wins and a draw, we're out of it. And if we win in Curacao, it's possible. It's possible. But we need somebody to assist Levi up front. Somebody with a little zest, a little zeal. Um, as I said, John Paul Rushford is not in the form he should be. Muckett does not seem to be required for whatever reason. And not that Muckett doesn't have skill, but he doesn't. He's not as dangerous. He's like a lighter version. I always call him John Paul Rushford light in that he can dribble well, shoot well from a distance, but he's not in Rushford's category. Real Gill is pretty close to being in that category, and I hope he wasn't even on the bench today. So that's it. I have given you my scenarios. If we win, we got an excellent chance of going ahead in this tournament. If we draw, we still got a good solid chance. And if we lose, it'll be very hard because I don't think Curacao will have to do much. The only thing that could spoil all of this is Bermuda go and draw or win against somebody, which I don't see Bermuda doing that in Jamaica. Not even against Jamaica, who just screw up. And I'm sure they could spring a surprise at home against the Dutchmen. They shocked them by scoring two goals against Curacao in about 20 minutes and lost narrowly 3-2. Um, but I don't see it happening. But these things do happen. These things can happen. And maybe they could help us out a little bit. I don't know. So that's it. That's it. I'm going to give a pre match And I kind of did it already, didn't I? But I'm going to give a pre-match video probably later in the week. Talk a little bit about Curacao and their players. I did this in an earlier video, but might as well do it again, especially as they just had a game. So that's it. I really hope we can pull it off. It was a good day for Trinidad. Let me just finish by saying the last month and the next month will be wonderful, or has been wonderful for Trinidad and Tobago football. You know, we don't usually have a lot of football, but earlier this year we had the Unity Cup. Then we had the Gold Cup. Then we've had the World Cup qualifiers. We've also had the qualifying tournament for the Caribbean Club Tournament. Now we've had the Caribbean Tournament, and in the last month we've been watching Central FC. We've been watching Defence Force, and now we got Defence Force in the semi-finals in a week and a half. In the semi-finals of the Caribbean Cup. So there's a lot of football been going on for Trinidad and Tobago. For a country that's been starved of top quality football, it's been a grand time. Even if we don't qualify for the World Cup, it'd be nice for the TTFA to organize some meaningful internationals next year, especially some at home, fill up the stadium. People do come out for quality, and that's it. Let's hope we can do it against Curacao. I believe in our team. I believe we can. Just got to be solid. All right, as usual. God bless Trinidad Tobago. God bless Dwight York, Levi Garcia, Gill, the TTFA, Karen Edwards. God bless this fella right here on the camera.